Alright, is this fucking working now? Start out the stream with the profanity. Perfect. Get that dinged. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see. Let's see if this is all. Should be good.
Hello.
That's it? That's how you open? Hello.
I'm going to do that every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to another Diablo developer update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well, I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so...
what is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to. So
we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way.
All
to say
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, what are they up
and
to?
of course, we have Chris Leal,
lead UX designer on Immortal,
and Ryan Quinn.
Hi, I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
So we are actually starting off today's show with some Diablo Immortal conversations.
John and Craig, we're
also,
up.
I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today.
I'm talking
We've been
Immortal. Do
joking
people
around,
still
and,
play
I
Immortal?
call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson.
It's because I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one
I
of them.
It's all the way up. How's that sound?
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
That's all the way
Disappointing.
up. So hopefully
But he
that's
does have a
sufficient.
really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, work.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during
Now
Q&A.
we're doing
Someone
Britney
asked that
jokes?
question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A.
Great.
And there you go. You're just
Leave
on the
Britney
spot. and you have to
alone,
answer
John.
it, so.
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This
Oh,
is more of a
really? All those
developer
Chinese
stream,
whales,
so it's a
dude,
bit more
just spending
official.
fucking
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to
$1,000s.
recognize too is that, like, as a family of
crazy,
games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want, anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo, we want to be able to talk about it. You know, I could imagine we're going to have a season 29 conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future.
Wow.
And so one of the things we're going to look at, to do today was not just talk
Season
about,
29
we are
for
definitely going to
Diablo
talk
3.
about season 1 on Diablo 4. And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there. Trust us,
Quality
but
of the
it's going to take a
stream
minute.
looks
So,
pretty
but what we
nice.
really want to look at as well is we want to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into season 1. We're going to talk about what's going on with D4 today because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And and then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal because something
I
pretty
don't think
incredible
this
is
was
happening
live.
in
The
Diablo
cuts
Immortal, which
are
is
too good.
in nearly
That
a
was too
decade
good
we're
of a
having our
reaction.
first new Diablo character
see that,
class is
John?
being revealed, and we wanted to reveal it
Pre-recorded.
here on this stream. So, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, Story and Franchise, and Blizzard Video, and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video?
No,
to
they
go
don't
with
need
it?
to do
So
them live.
without
They
further
don't need to
ado,
do 'em live.
may we present to you the
But-
new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
It just looks too good too to be like that. Timing's perfect unless they have the greatest TD.
The darkness
Ever.
has always been with us,
Let's fucking
and
go.
humanity is right to fear it.
Let's go.
The darkness
Dude.
wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it in defiance.
What is this? Is that
Humanity
Demon
is
Hunter?
right to fear the darkness, but I am a Blood Knight,
Blood
and the
Knight?
darkness fears me.
Yo! Wait, what is this? This is Immortal? John, you're an Immortal guy. It's your cell phone out. July 13th? I mean,
And there we have it. The new class coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal.
Blood
It's the
Knight?
Blood Knight.
July 13th. That's
July
like
13th.
a little over a week away.
Exactly.
wow.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream, so people can actually check it out. It'll be on YouTube along with all the details that we're about to talk about. We just like to get ahead of ourselves.
good
that's all.
bicep
But,
vein, man. Dude,
obviously,
exercises.
first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the
think?
story and so forth behind.
I mean,
the
the
Blood
cuts
Knight.
feel pretty
Ryan,
good.
give us a little bit of background regarding the Blood Knight itself.
Yeah, sure. So I think historically,
I mean-
when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And
They should have got
it's
that guy a
great to kind
bigger
of
chair. I'm
indulge
gonna be
in
real
that
with you.
nostalgia. It's great to get that
Look,
dopamine
they
hit
got
of
him
playing
in like
a classic.
they need a booster
But
seat or something.
after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity.
I
to do
saw that. Yeah, I
something
heard
that
the
felt
encoding
really
error thing.
new and different.
But
To do a
that could just be
supernatural
based
class
on the
that's kinda
stream, right? Like that
monstrous,
doesn't
that
necessarily
does
have to
things that
be
our other dark classes
like that could
the
just be the
Necromancer
output,
and
right?
the Demon Hunter don't do. And so we're really, really stoked about the opportunity to release the Blood Knight on everybody.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, everyone's kind of seeing the Blood Knight, and they're thinking like
That
is
deck
this,
in
like,
the background's dope.
vampiric
Except
in some
that's a
sort of
vertical
way,
deck.
or like how
Kinda
does
pissed
this
me off. They
how
got
does
it
this
laid
fit
on
in
the
with
side.
the actual lore
Right.
within Diablo?
Right. So the fine details are Blood Knights and vampires.
See, I mean, if you just
are
watch the
intertwined.
cuts, like the cut
On
back and
Sanctuary,
forth are all they're
vampires
perfect.
are kind of like living
Like
plagues.
something I would do
They
in post.
go
like
from
these,
hunting ground to
hitting
hunting
all
ground.
these
They
cuts
kill people,
like
they
this would
bite
be
people,
tough.
and sometimes people who they've bitten, they suffer this monstrous transformation. They start to devolve into what we call thralls, kind of like lesser vampiric beings, long teeth, hunger for blood, all that stuff. And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside
This
them,
dude's
frozen
excited.
essentially in place. They get some advantages, but they get some drawbacks too.
I mean, again, do you think they're
What do you mean, the
calling
curse
it?
of
I mean, it's
turning
not
into
the
a
big
thrall
deal. I
is a
just
drawback in a
we're
way?
sitting
Well,
here trying to
their
work our way
thraldom
through
is
the
essentially
immortal stuff.
on pause. So basically, what happens is a Blood Knight.
I mean, I
also
guess like you would have
preternaturally
on
strong
that
and fast,
graphic, you
can
probably
see
would
in
have
the
put a little
dark,
bit of
can smell
motion on
blood
it
from
if
a
you
mile
were in
away.
post.
Doesn't age anymore, as you've seen in the concept
Ideally.
art. Very, very fancy. But on the flip side, you know, they have these
I guess I'm
blood red
I'm
eyes,
viewing
they have
this as
black
like an
veins in their
editor
face,
and
makes
not
people
as like a
uncomfortable.
Diablo fan. I'm
and
just
maybe-
like
Yeah.
trying to, you know, we cut back to
And-
this.
and sort of
Maybe
more
you might be
pivotally
right.
than
Maybe
that,
it is live.
You know,
'Cause why are
deep
we seeing
inside
this
their
again?
soul, there is an abomination, a monstrous darkness that hungers for violence. And in order to tamp
looks
that
cool as
down,
fuck,
in
though.
order to slow
His
their
arm, like, look at his
transformation
arm. That shit
further,
looks
they
sick.
have to perform a ritual. That keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their lifeline.
I
So,
see.
so
Like
like
a link to their past.
yeah. It's got a memento within
I wonder
of
if
the
this
last
guy
place
likes
that they were
Adderall.
kind of truly
You know what I mean?
human.
Right.
And so every
don't know if
morning,
you're
noon,
allowed
and
to say
night,
that. I
they're
don't know what the
doing
rules are.
ablutions with this thing to hopefully continue to keep the darkness at bay. But you know, it's a process.
That shirt's
Right.
fucking
The
cool.
ritual,
That
it's
dude in the
hearsay.
second from
You know,
the
it's been
right.
passed down for hundreds of years, and for basically every Blood Knight, you know,
John, you
it
seem like you'd
may
be that you'd
fail
rock the shirt
at
on the
some
left.
point.
You're like
All
a
Blood
Diablo
Knights are
4
doomed
polo
to
kind
one
of
day
guy.
succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Could
they
be
don't know.
centuries,
Right? Yeah.
right? They're very, very long.
That
what
looks dope.
What they do know,
You know
and
what I
what
mean?
they pledge on, is that they're going to use all of the time they have left to push back the darkness. And
Yeah,
ultimately,
now I'm
for
starting
them,
to lean
since that
more
is
towards it's
such
live
an
now based
uncertain
on some of
question,
these
it's
images.
really about their inner sense of balance. Can I do enough good
Right.
to make up
How
for
do
the
you
evil
feel
that
about
will rise
John? This is a
when I'm
production
gone?
question. How do you feel about him
Yeah, I
only
just wanted to
addressing
give a shout out
people
because
on
we had
the
the
panel?
art there earlier, and that
Like,
art
do you
is
feel like they
gorgeous
should
looking.
address
At
the
the same time, they're
audience a
very
little bit
pretty.
more?
I've been joking about it. I'm like, oh look, they're so pretty.
If you were going to turn into a monster, you'd
Like
want to
if-
stop
Well,
there,
it's funny
right?
because
Like
they're-
it
they're
feels
very,
like they're
they're
having
very,
a conversation and we're
gorgeous
just
here,
listening.
and then they turn into
you
the
know?
abomination, which is really funny to
Like
see.
we're
So it's like a
listening, we're
complete,
just
like,
eavesdropping or
opposite
whatever.
Well,
on
I
their
mean, you
combo.
mentioned the abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this
Doesn't
creature
feel like we're part of
during
the,
that.
which
So what
may not be the
actually is
goal,
going
but in
on
my
here?
head,
Like this is a.
it feels like
I guess
you know,
Chris
this
will
is for
talk
the
eventually about
community,
like how an abomination comes to me, but
not
this is basically
necessarily for them to just,
tapping
like,
into what's
you know,
inside them
measure
to
their-
change
their
form.
things.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them extreme power in the short term.
This is a Bruce Banner Hulk thing.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. But that's also the
Right, I
goal,
get
right?
that.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight,
Yeah.
obviously, like,
Yeah.
it's
It just
new
they're like
class. How does it
leaning,
fit
trying to
this
look
into
around the person next to
like
them,
a
and
gameplay style? Like,
it
what
just
if you're
feels a
playing a
little-
Blood Knight? What can you expect the style
Oh.
to be
All right,
as
we
a,
caught the
a
camera
person that's actually
move.
jumping
I like
into
it.
Diablo?
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning there's tons of
See, he's
up-close
telling him,
combat with
like, tell
forearms.
us.
However, they have a host of shadow and blood abilities they can use to manipulate the battlefield in their favor.
The set looks really
I think
nice though,
the
other than that
drawback
fucking
of Blood Knights
skateboard that's
might
laid
be
on
that
its side. Come
players
on.
that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it. So, like, in combat more often, close combat, so they're essentially
How
taking
does
more
the,
damage, but then they
the
have
camera
abilities
look and all
themselves to
that,
actually
like,
essentially drain, as we can
position-wise,
see,
does that
kind of
look-
like
that
life
looks
from
pretty
others,
good, right? It's
essentially
good
replenish
size
their
and
life
stuff down
while they're in combat.
That's a dope
the kebab
ability,
attack,
though.
as I like to call
Yes.
it.
Kind of that
The
reach.
skewer attack is my favorite thing right now. I was like, so
Yeah, that's
what's
dope.
happening
It's like a
there? We saw it in the
sweep
trailer. We see it
or
here
reap
as
or
well.
something
Where
from Path.
basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer. So that's you're like Chris is like, yeah, that's
That's a
basically
dope.
it. Yeah,
I
that's
love
like-
that, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
That's
But it
what,
actually has a stun as well, right? It's not
Ren
just
should
the
have
attack
been. I
on the
think
one
Ren
thing
should
that
have
you
been
skewered. It
that.
actually can. It has an area effect.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward
The
into
camera
the
in
closest
this
enemy,
game is
then
really
swings
tight
overhead
on the
enemy
character, though,
and
huh?
slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge
Yeah,
forward
this is-
or
this
actually
is
leap
cool.
to perform the slam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I know, like, of course,
Are
with
these
every
all
class in,
characters? Like
Immortal,
when you
they
say
all
Paladin,
have,
Death Knight,
different
are these
ultimates depending on
characters
their
that have
primary
existed
attack
in the
skills and so
other
forth. Like, what
Diablo,
kind
or
of,
it's just
two
an
different
archetype
ultimates,
that like
can we
you're interested in?
expect with the Blood Knight?
Yeah, I could talk a bit about the
Like,
primary attacks.
like what?
The
Like I've
first
heard
is
Paladin
Ravage.
a number of times. Is that
They're
something that's
basically
existed
swinging
in
their
Diablo
forearm
in the
around a
past?
3-hit combo, and right here is the ultimate where they become a 5-hit combo with a stun at the end. And
Dual
the-
wielding pole arms. That's
Oh, it always
like
has. Was it? Oh, was that
And
in? I
the
did play some
other
D3, but
primary
I
attack they
didn't
have is
play
called
enough
Shadow's Edge.
to be super
It's
knowledgeable.
quite a unique one. It's the
Path,
first
the
in
path
Immortal
leagues
where
have been too good
the,
over the last couple years to
in melee range, the
do
Blood Knight
anything
will
else.
do a slash, and for enemies that are further away,
D2
they'll actually
had
throw
Paladin,
the
D2
dagger
had Crusader.
forward.
So
and
they're the
there are
same.
legendary essences that add damage over time or make
Oh,
the dagger
Death Knights are
ricochet.
in WoW.
Nice. So you can essentially.
Oh, okay.
It's good room clear type of abilities is what I'm hearing. So
I
if
mean,
you got
he
a ton of
looks-
mobs in
he
front of you,
looks
especially
fucking cool.
if the daggers are ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything
Witch
that are
Doctor, yeah.
associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here.
There
this
was
is like
Demon Hunter
the
too, right? For
abomination
some
that we were
reason, I have
talking
that
about
in my
before.
head. Isn't
What's-
that the
why
one
would I
from
wanna become the
D3 that
Abomination?
had
What do I
the
get from
crazy
that?
like
Yeah, so I'll talk
rapid
about the
fire
Abomination
type
a
build?
bit. The way it works is it is a transformative skill that requires defeating enemies to fill the bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more often, and it then transforms
Can you
your
play
entire
Immortal on a?
skill
Oh, you
bar
can play it on
into,
PC. Quinn was
a
playing
new
it on
primary
PC.
attack, followed by two specific
Okay.
skills: a blood rush, where the
So
blood
there
knight
probably won't
actually
be that then.
dashes forward in a ball of blood. And then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and
I
slam.
wonder how long you think this will be. An hour, probably hour-long stream.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself, and
I
there
think that
are like, even
they'll do
other
two. You think
components
they would do an
that are
Immortal
kind of
update
gonna
and
be
a
coming with
Diablo
this
4
actual
update
update. Do you guys have
on the
any
13th?
additional
you think they would
information
double
on
that
There's
up,
ways
or
to
you
play
think
it, right? Like
Yeah.
so the
they'll
things that's really
stagger
interesting. Like I think having a new character class introduced
probably two different
on basically the
departments, right?
anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like it's a great way to celebrate 1 year that Immortal has been at. It's hard to believe it's already been a year. It's crazy. But so having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm going to obviously. Well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Because there's basically three ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year, like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver. Right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So if you're brand new to Immortal and have never played before, you can play the Blood Knight right out of the gate, create a new character completely free, and start with the main story complete with custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod, who have been playing for a while and want to convert to this class, I'm happy to say that we've made some major improvements to class change. Strength and intelligence will now convert properly.
I know, it's a huge request that a lot of people are asking for, yes.
Yes, it's going to be great. And also, players will be able to, during the event, change to the Blood Knight on a one-day cooldown and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of. Or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice. Awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be
So I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class, and so you're taking your character. Like I have a very specific build with very specific gear. But if I wanted to go play Fractured Planes, it says, "Oh, you're a barbarian. Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this," and you build up your gear and stuff as you're playing through this roguelike experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so now for the Blood Knight introduction, you've created Crimson Planes, which is a version of the same experience to go and test drive all the different Blood Knight skills?
Exactly. So you'll be able to try out different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand, customize it, and it's completely free. And then, of course, any existing character can do class changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then we even have just other items associated with this specific patch that'll be hitting as well.
Full set of legendaries for the Blood Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary
the blog, yeah.
that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog immediately after the stream. So you guys can check out the cinematic trailer that we showed off for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog, and of course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon. It's crazy. We do. We're super stoked. The cinematic is amazing, by the way. I just want to
Why are you, for people who didn't get to see it in full frame rate, you're basically rubbing their noses right now.
Essentially,
Go watch it again, please.
See it in the Blizzard Cinematics team. Amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then, of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out. All the details.
Congratulations, guys, on the
Yep.
year. It's been an amazing year for Immortal. And I think people who maybe tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it, like basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend, stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, and the tower, the clan play, there's just so much else going on. So it's a free-to-play game if you want to go check it out just to see all the changes. Like I said, there's been in a year, it's a completely different game in the sense of the different ways that you can approach the content, which is exciting. But hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really, really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast. Absolutely killed it as the Blood Knight. It's just pure haughtiness and bloodlust and action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on I was going to say the name of the villain, our Act 3 villain in Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better time to re-roll, to start a new run through the main story.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much, and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4 content. We're actually going to take a really short break because we got to swap people in. This room is only so big, and we also need mics off of people and everything. But we're going to be swapping in into our Diablo 4 segment. So we'll see you here in a minute or so.
All right. Here we go.
Din honon exousia. Anhuratin exousia. May we fight true in his holy name. Blessed be the light.
And we're back.
Oh, there's
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's going to be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other
I
streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice
Oh,
in
thank
the
you.
world.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
So
really nice.
Tim is just going to talk for the rest of the stream.
Wow, okay.
And-
I didn't prepare for that at all. All right.
Surprise.
Maybe you should actually introduce people.
Yes,
or-
I will introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Ismay. May I introduce you?
Hello, Tim Ismay. I'm one of the lead producers on Diablo 4, specifically focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the seasons context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
You said
Wait,
plural.
there's more than one
I
season.
was trying to build more than one.
one
Sure.
season.
Yeah.
There is more than one season. That's going to be, we're revealing
Or
that.
that's job security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it. Yeah.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have
Oh,
a
yeah.
familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Pipora. I'm the Associate Game Director for the live service, and I'm excited to talk about Season 1 today, at last.
But first,
But first.
Oh, but first, that's right.
because Adam has built
can't-
everything possible
we
to talk
can't
about
start-
except the season.
right,
You
yeah.
can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct. Obviously, it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you
No,
include
no,
like, early
no, but you're right.
access.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, I always, the amount of feedback we get about, like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been like 5 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
give us a second.
Exactly.
So,
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month, since Diablo 4 has
wait,
actually
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
Oh, that's smart.
Sure, we actually released it.
We're extremely good at our job.
Wait, so you
I don't want to get in the
started
weeds,
before the
everybody.
game
I don't
launched?
want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release.
I thought you were just
something.
going to say zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
Yeah,
Oh my
obviously, that's
God.
what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My
no.
mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't
Okay,
know if
I'll
we,
bring it in a
we'll
little bit.
fix that. I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can
broadcast.
project everybody.
Yeah,
That's
he
what's
can-
going to
He
take.
can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
And you haven't seen
Sorry,
Joey
I
P
interrupted. So
scream.
you,
Any better?
Sorry.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the
sorry.
5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway.
Correct.
So yes, it's been 5
so
weeks.
obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We
No,
actually
my
had a
mic's all the
campfire
way
chat
up.
in between,
It's all the way up.
where we talked about even
I don't know
a
where
big
it
update that was coming before season
13
1.
page.
Yes, 13
notes?
page. Which people are like, well, that must have been like 14.5.
Tell me if that sounds any
double-spaced.
better
I'm
now.
like, maybe it was.
Maybe.
But it still was very big. It was
Yeah,
like
I don't know. Is that weird? Does
it
that
went
sound
on-
better?
on the actual site? But we've
Oh,
addressed a lot
okay.
of
So
feedback
maybe
and
it's just
everything,
maybe at my fat
related
belly,
to
I
the
was
game.
like
We still have
leaned
more
over
feedback
on
that
the
we're actually
button.
gonna be addressing. And I will say,
Does it seem
that,
balanced now?
Later this
Like,
afternoon, there
but
is
with the
gonna be
stream?
another patch, climb patch, surprise, spoilers, or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting
Okay,
all
word.
platforms later
Yeah, I
this
don't know. I
afternoon.
must have
There will
just.
be,
This is
patch
from your
notes,
guys'
posted
studio,
this
so
afternoon.
this is
Not
kind of
as-
on you.
very
John,
much
you're
not
the
as
production
funky
guy. You're
as-
the
as
EP
103, but
out
it does
here.
address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over to us.
You guys got faulty
in the
equipment.
patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, I actually have this printed out.
Is that what they just said?
1.04 is coming this afternoon, and not
Balance
give an
patch?
example. of
Oh
something
wow,
that's
it's
not
today?
there.
Yeah,
I know
shit.
that they are actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide Chess, so that Helltide Chess will now actually drop unique items.
Oh,
Have a
okay.
chance to drop unique items, but
Yes.
yes.
Sorry. I was saying not
So
like
they
a
didn't. They
guarantee.
couldn't
Yeah, yeah.
prior
Well,
to
not-
today.
not
That's.
quoted,
I didn't
I'm just
even
like,
click on that honestly.
So that's okay. That sounds stupid for me as the GM to go like, I thought they already could drop uniques with Helltide Chess, so I was mistaken there.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those Whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Helltides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once your uniques can drop in.
That's
Helltide
right.
Chess.
That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep, and I will
Wow.
say, like, we've been getting, like we've mentioned, I think, many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to
They seem to be listening to
bugs,
the
issues,
community
or
quite
even
a
just, like,
bit,
general
which is
gameplay
pretty
feedback,
nice.
and it's something that
How
the
were
team
they
has
pretty?
been
Was
reading through and
WoW?
getting through.
Did they
And those
listen to
are
the
things that,
community a fair
obviously,
amount?
well, we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like, this is the thing, I was making the joke about they started before, like, seasons started
No.
before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like, we're
I think
moving
that's
as fast as we can, but we have to move also
the last
safely,
18
because
months.
if we move too
Oh, I mean,
fast,
again,
we
I
can
think that's kind of
vibrate the
becoming
game
part of
out
the
stability. And so we're
like the
trying to
gaming
be
atmosphere. You
as
know, like with
reactive as we
Path,
can,
for the most
but
part, they
in a
listen to
safe way, and
the
knowing we have
community a
large
lot.
backlog of
And then
season
when they
one
feel
was
like they
already
need to
well
make a
in flight,
stand, they do, and they're
season
pretty
two
clear
is also
about it.
very much
But
well in flight. And so we're trying
interesting,
to
they
make
did
those adjustments.
disregard
So we
the
hear the
community.
feedback. So
Okay.
please don't take the lack of
Okay, well, that's a
instantaneous
good thing then.
responses and we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about, I want to lock my inventory. We hear you about all the different types of things that you're giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that feedback, and we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to.
It's true,
we're
man.
gonna
I mean,
support for years to
the
come.
base
This is the
game they gave
foundation
us 5
of,
weeks
you know,
in, I
we
mean,
said the launch
it's
was the beginning,
pretty
not the
exceptional,
end.
honestly.
And so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey, guess what, a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people
His
start to
mic
find
keeps like
some
going in and
familiarity
out,
with
kind of like
how
it
we
sounds
actually
like it's
update the
switching
game
between
around
like the
seasons
boom and his
client patches that may occur,
lob
whether
or whatever
they
you
are
would
in
call
between
that.
or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out.
Gets real
and people
echoey.
then know what to
some
expect
reverb.
going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do
Yeah,
hit the game.
I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! So we're actually now going to talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's get into it.
Season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off.
Let's go. Let's
we jump
go.
into it. So hit it, Rich and Matt.
Let's go, Richard and Matt.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague.
Oh, I love this.
To rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them. But I cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling.
This
The
is
malignant
dope.
are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Oh, dope. 720? 2 weeks? Okay, so they did.
And there we have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th.
Yep. July
the season of
20th.
The Malignant. Lots to talk about there. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding.
This guy. This guy's a troll,
obviously,
dude.
A lot of people want to know what's going on. You know, we even teased it on social media yesterday where something was corrupting Sanctuary.
Let's go,
I
Glug.
guess Tim, Joe, like
Yeah, no, okay,
explain
so
to us what's going on now?
So season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary. Kind of step off from that point. And there's a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to spread throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world, and that's everything from like beasts to humans to demons themselves, everything in between.
So
can be corrupted by this malignance.
Oh, dope! So it is a new mechanic
inside people. And it's basically kind of like it's
like delirium,
changing them.
Path.
Right. It's turning them into these.
I can't say that, but I'll say
they're
it.
going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to.
Let's go.
Named Cormund, who we actually saw in the trailer there. Cormund is Cormund is an ex-member of the Cathedral of Light. He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light. And he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. You say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormund?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I think when he's not 100% successful, he comes to the player.
So he's an NPC, right?
He's
not
really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you? So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right? But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. Now, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to like the beginning of the story of the season pretty much right away. You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
Oh, it's a whole new. Oh, this is sick.
Eternal Realm into the season afterwards. We're going to get through the season.
So a side quest, or is it an extension of the campaign?
What happens to my current character? How do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely
we all
right.
know your character goes to
so that's kind of the high level, like what's happening in the
That's
world
the theme, right? We have a
yeah.
seasonal theme with a seasonal story, but like, what about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics?
That's dope.
We're looking at.
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case, in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have these growths on it and some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a cage of binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Yep.
Why would you want this? How does
Arch Nemesis, we're here. They dropped Arch Nemesis season 1.
Where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures. Now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all of that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there.
Oh,
like that,
wow,
maybe
very
even
cool.
A little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry, and that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, but they are extremely powerful. So these are new options for how you can play the game.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
they're giving a lot of power right away.
One of the things we really want to do with
A
each
lot.
season,
That's a lot of
we
power.
want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4.
Yeah, they always
problems
use
for them to
whack
solve,
builds when
new
they show
ways
off
for them
the
to
new
customize their
stuff.
characters and
I
kind
feel
of
like
do
they
new
have
cool
to. They
stuff.
can't show you
And
the
that's what
cool
Malignant Hearts and the
cool
powers
stuff.
associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So
That's
one
crazy
instance-
that they're
so
going to
yes,
give
you
that
can
much
take more than
power
heart
so
you manage
quickly.
To collect from one of the consumers
That
you managed to
seems
kill,
that seems
when you
crazy
look
to
at these
me,
super malignant
honestly.
creatures that you've killed this way, and you can socket them into your gear.
Oh,
We
you
have
don't
over
think they
30
keep
32
mechanics like
new- let's say
PoE?
over 30.
Ah,
We have
maybe you're
32
right.
new malignant powers.
You know exactly
It
how
is-
many
Oh, look at
technically,
these.
yeah, no, it's 32. So we have
Wow.
32 new malignant powers
Critically
going out this
strikes
way.
electrically
These are
charge
our
enemies
new legendary power
for
like
3
abilities. You can see this
seconds.
one here, critical
Lightning to
strikes,
arc.
electrical
Wow.
charge, to creatures for a set amount of damage. So these like there's a lot of really powerful things like this. That you'd be able to kind of like interact with over the course of
The
time.
socket colors
But
are different.
each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if like brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go
That's-
in
yeah,
infested
this
sockets
is-
you'll find on rings
this
and
is pretty
jewelry
crazy.
during the season of the malignant of a matching color.
I see.
So when you're
So see,
hunting for,
these
like,
are the
when you're,
things that are
finding
going to help
amulets
these
and rings
all
or
these
gambling at
everybody
at the,
beat
like,
Uber
Elbows
Lilith
Vendor
and stuff
wanna
like
do,
that. Again,
you're
I don't
kinda
think she
looking
was
for
supposed to
specific
be.
socket colors.
Or if you're
beaten.
getting a unique ring
Oh,
from the new health
oh.
chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then like, yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do.
Yeah,
But what's interesting, like with the, so there's 3 different types of color sockets, yes?
There's 3 different types of colored sockets, but there's 4 different types of malignant hearts.
Go on.
Well, okay, I guess I will. So the last malignant heart type is called like basically a wrathful. It's an extremely powerful malignant heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go.
I just got this generic
And
B-roll
you
there.
kinda
She's
want a
just going to keep
combination of all of
socketing
these.
this
So
over and
even
over.
though the wrathfuls are pretty strong, you're really only looking to probably have like 1 or 2 of these based on
Yeah,
what you actually
that
need.
sounds
for your
about
build,
right.
over the course of time.
Uber
it's
Lilith,
fun,
dude,
you
welcome.
really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They can unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for the, so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, a piece of jewelry,
Yeah.
are they able to add colored sockets, or are those
So
only
you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the season of malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like, you couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket
But
anymore.
even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
so
it'll
even
always
if you
be
do
an
the jeweler,
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay,
super
so yeah,
unique.
maybe
if I'm
you're right,
looking
John. It
for,
would be tough
a unique
to
I have a unique
probably
ring, like you talked about,
continue
but I
with
want
these
the
builds. But
blue
again, the
version.
problem with
I could find
adding
a
and
unique
removing
with the
things
red
like
socket,
this
and I
is
could
when
find the
things go
yellow
what
socket, so
what
I'm
goes
looking
to
for
the
blue.
eternal
So there
realm
might
and
be
what
multiple
doesn't,
versions of
right?
uniques
Like
as well, right?
That's correct.
does
Yeah.
does
So yeah, fun new stuff to look forward to, and that's just, I mean, that's, we showed in the video earlier, like the
I'm curious to see how that works
there's
by
a chance for, as Tim
because
pointed
Path
out,
does it. They
chance for
take
all
they
kinds of
take
elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature,
add
which makes them a little more
mechanics,
powerful,
take
but then when you
mechanics,
kill
but then
them and
you know
go and
some
you
of those
actually
things
use the
will go to
bindings
standard
to
and they
capture
still
their heart,
exist in the
then you play
standard
that super
league.
the consume version. It's like that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger
New effects
combat in
compound
that scene.
season would have to be
There's more
long.
to
They
look
might
forward to, and those
be.
get tougher and tougher. And
They might be, but then it'll get stale too, right? Like this, that's what I'm saying. It's I'm curious to see how they manage this because they seem to be giving us a lot that also are. It's going to change the way we're doing things, right? Like if all these sockets have colors now, like do they still accept normal gems?
Including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit.
I don't
further
know.
on as you
I'm
finish
curious.
the campaign of season 1. You will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you are
By the way,
trying to,
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Jesus Christ, buddy.
And
It's a serious thing when you're over 50.
this is,
You should know
and
that.
this, and this is when
That's a good point.
we-
So if you have a
uh,
malignant tunnel, you should get yourself checked out.
so
This fucking guy.
When we say malignant
Yeah, that
tunnel,
was
we
that
mean,
was.
Hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these
All right.
cards, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world.
He's right though,
Where
man.
can
It's
I
probably mostly
intentionally find more of
mostly
them?
old
There are these
fucks
malignant
like
tunnels.
us
So there are
watching
actually
these. We
places
probably do need to
across
go
the
get the
world
malignant
where
tunnel
the
checked
malignance
out,
is
dude.
manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically
That
wanna
was
go
that
find
was an
more malignant hearts,
interesting
you can hunt down these
moment,
tunnels.
though.
You can go in and hey, there are more malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really
This dude's just
need
using
a
the
very
default
specific
attack or
type
what?
of malignant heart. How do I make that even more
Jesus,
likely?
can you imagine if this
That's
is how
where
you had to
take
play
the
the game?
crafted invoker You go all the way to the end.
Just get 14 gold and you just fucking bonk things. That's an L. You want to type L's in the chat. That's a fucking L, dude. Whatever this is.
Have the color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find.
I mean, how are you gonna try to hype up the next season and that's your fucking like your gameplay? Like that doesn't. Come on.
Game of season 1.
Actually, I have like
high octane. It's true, man.
Video. It will be able to show you the going into an evoker event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an evoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. I don't, that wasn't the like art direction on it, but yeah, that's where we ended up.
This dude's just all blasting. Yeah, I know. The level 14 Hota, dude. Level 9. Get it right, dude.
And each of the tunnels has a few different ones that can potentially.
Oh, dude, whoever's calling in the B-roll is fucking up.
So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out.
I love the set though. That statue, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name, but that looks
sick.
sick.
So like we were just showing it.
These casuals, you're right, Jonathan. They probably have lives.
So basically, there's a growth. You get to the end of the tunnel. You're able to basically, essentially requesting a monster.
They don't have 2 level hunters and a little kill. All right, we're fucking up the.
A chance to get a blue
Or are we supposed to be
blue monster?
Freezing right here?
Some of these, are, like particularly later on in the experience, like the most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these invoker.
Someone's going to be in trouble.
Go and interact with. So yeah, something we're very excited about.
So basically, they use an invoker on this.
They need a Fontees or a Cheyenne over there, man. Get some of this shit working right.
Which then creates a blue monster for you to go fight. You have to take that down, which will then.
Where's Dylan? It's probably Dylan doing this,
dude. The same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture it hard to kill the harder thing.
Yeah, when this thing pops up after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the 1-2.
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, when you basically I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now.
I think it's tough, right? Because like the super low for us, right? Like we know that that's what it is. But somebody new who's maybe checking this out and sees that gameplay, they're gonna be like, dude, it took. You know what I mean? You're just sitting there bonking these fucking monsters with that shit. Like I think you know maybe.
That's right. Yeah.
Still early level, but like you got to kind of show off what we're seeing. Like get into like like maybe a mid 40, low 40s.
And I know like obviously with the
well, I mean, I think that if you're trying to show off the new content, like you should show it off, right? Like we don't need to see you using a default basic skill to bonk a pack of 4 monsters for 28 gold. Like what is that? Doesn't build any hype.
New legendary items for players to collect this season.
Let's see some of that arcing lightning and shit.
For players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Now those new
uniques.
The unique uniques. Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the eternal realm. So
exactly.
Yeah, if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the eternal realm, there's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Okay, yeah.
So you probably saw before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic, it was awesome, and we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming to you that is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items. Yeah.
So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want, July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm.
Wow, Eternal gets them first?
Balance changes,
that is
those will be right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
I think it's like going back to managing expectations.
I don't know.
We've been trying to be really clear about it. With
they're giving the new items 2 days early.
Main campaign storyline.
Oh, this is what I wanted to know. Okay.
Trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about
okay, that makes sense for them. To your point earlier, John, if it's its own side thing, it'll be a lot easier to remove these from the game. But again,
within the season of the Malignant.
I'd be curious to know if they do remove it, what happens to everything
to create like these new big features and kind of go along with that
Eternal Realm.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season, I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you
would
want
be
to track,
really...
You want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
Is that, I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you.
Yeah.
You went from golf to
Yeah, went from golf to
T-ball.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Battle
yeah.
Pass.
But
no, I agree.
Absolutely. So there is, this is obviously with season 1, where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we've talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is
no top secret.
Yeah. So this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1.
Oh, okay.
Going into here, you'll see the season journey, and again, so the season journey is separated into 7 chapters. You know, and like these major chapters.
Oh, look at that! You unlock all those
objectives inside
aspects.
Each of them in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
And you don't have to do all of them?
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. So I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective.
Look at the icons up top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So those are our.
More in a minute. But you're also for your chapter completion moments. You're getting
whatever, not torments or whatever, nightmare, all that. Right. There's 3 more.
But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects, ones that you can't normally get through the like dungeon completion.
Look at, they're totally new aspects. Did you see that?
Aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this. The notion around, like, I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller hater, and so I never want.
Yeah,
to
chapter 1 would be easy.
The fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks
3
below,
dungeons in Fractured Peak, complete a seller.
Like, I find you get into situations.
Collect a whispering key.
Yeah, I
mean these are all simple.
That you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
which
in
is
the season journey, which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season.
That's dope. Push people into PvP. That's fucking sick.
I do want to call out here as well with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this Battle Pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the Battle Pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with.
Copy.
Actually, everybody has access to the Battle Pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the Battle Pass. You're getting free stuff.
In the seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm. Yes. Ron has always reminded me to say that. In the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists.
I mean, that makes sense. People are going to freak out about that, but it's a seasonal journey.
So yeah, that's essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives.
I mean, that's good. I'm glad they didn't cave on all that. I don't think you can cave. Yeah, people are going to be pissed, but this is the way it should be. This is just the way it should be. Yeah, it's not. This, in my opinion, this isn't something that's up for debate. I don't think.
A lot of favor to go towards your Battle Pass.
Maybe other people feel differently. Because again, this is not an like in Destiny. This is not an extension of the campaign. This isn't. You know, this very well could be taken and removed. And so, like, if you want season stuff, you have to play the season, right? So I don't know. This all makes sense to me. I think this is the way it should be.
For example, right. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character, I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor, like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right? In
That's absolutely correct.
I just won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and you can also progress your season journey, but some of those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later, but in terms of getting access to the mechanic, the idea of talking to Corman, capturing malignant hearts, having rings with colored socket or jewelry with colored sockets. That stuff all takes place.
Oh, it's just the jewelry.
Post-campaign.
Okay.
That's
And
correct.
so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight
Okay.
malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the.
You should beat the campaign, too,
Right,
I
the seasonal
think.
realm, but you will shortly thereafter.
So good. I mean,
So
it's
one
the
thing
best
you
part
can
of the
do, and I know
game
we're
right
talking
now,
about this, we keep
honestly.
saying we're going to talk about this,
Right.
and then we talk about it anyway. But like,
Which is a nice change
I would
of
say, like,
path.
one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign.
Tony,
you can
that
make
one
the
was
seasonal
for you.
character And dive right into
If you're in the
seasonal
chat,
story
dude,
and
they're
content.
talking to you.
And
Finish
that's
the
forevermore. That's
fucking
one thing we
campaign.
tried to say is that once you complete the campaign on one character on your
Yeah,
account,
one character, one
for every
time.
season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well, and you know,
Not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the only
Foreshadowing.
thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to
one?
Let's get to the-
we should get to the battle pass. So the favor, so you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
You're playing the game because you're doing your season journey objectives. You're getting even
And
more
I was
of
going
it.
to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives. And so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass, whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So what, can we go back to the screen? Because I think it's one of the things. What we highlight here is part of the thing is kind of a, we use the
Lost you for a sec. Oh, we're losing you again. Get the
one of the
boom
reasons
out.
you want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this.
Yeah.
And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are
Did
wearing.
you tell Tones to finish the
and
fucking
so-
campaign?
Did you want to talk a little bit
Oh,
about
that
it?
looks good.
One of the things
That
that's
looks
really
sick.
cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really
dope.
exciting like armors to chase for the
That looks
characters.
sick.
There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes.
Oh, yes, you
And we
could
have
get a
some things like
blouse. What the fuck is
like
that?
showing off here like the artisan's tunic. We have some things that are like these. This
That's
is actually one of
fucking
our
whack.
free cosmetics actually. Is this the things?
Oh,
are,
yes,
like,
that's
a little bit
free. You
lower
could
fancy
keep
that you
it,
can use to
dog.
Kind of like role play different kind of themes out for your characters. just
There
to
we
give you more
go.
options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this. Like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff. Is like some of like the real chase armor cosmetics that exist at the end of.
That's
the battle
very
pass.
dope.
It's one of the things that.
Oh,
when-
wow,
if you
yeah,
notice
that looks
either
awesome.
The role-playing armor, like the artisan tunic,
That looks
or
awesome.
the helmet, is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So why we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass.
No,
is
they
everything
can't
you're in
give.
on the
They
battle
can't
pass
give
is
out.
class
It should be
agnostic.
Yeah, for those
purely
for those
transmogs.
The
Like
exception is the
they should
transmog
not
weapons.
give
There are
any.
transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes
Classes
can
can only
equip
use
certain
Oh,
weapons.
okay, yeah.
So
If they were
class can
giving
equip
real
that
items,
weapon,
that
then
would
you
be
have
that would
access
be
to
very
it.
shitty.
Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed, but there are lots of
It
free
should be
things
purely
on the
cosmetic,
Battle
in my
Pass.
opinion.
If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Yeah.
So what the only thing
Yeah,
you're
that's what
getting
I'm
access
here
to
for.
by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really cool stuff, some on the early end, and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version,
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
okay, the free version
I know where I
of
want to
it
go after you.
still has some very cool unlocks. And anything related to, well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side. Like, so we were saying there's 27 free tiers in the Battle Pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are
Out of 100, is that what it was?
that you can get based on the level you are in the game,
Yep.
and that you've progressed with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect in the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You need to be you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system.
Right.
And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player is collecting these,
Oh, nice.
ashes, they can invest them here to give.
Oh,
all
yeah,
of
I
their
already paid, dude. I
characters
already
on the
bought
seasonal
this shit.
realm, kind of like this advantage will carry through. So whether that is
Additional
like, bonus
levels.
to, like XP earned from monster
What do you
kills, which is
mean?
called out here, or things like boosting the duration of all
Additional
elixirs that you're,
levels
that you're
of the
using
battle
for
pass.
the
Oh,
season.
like you
Right,
can
and
actually
it looks
pay
like-
to rank up
I'm
faster?
assuming-
I don't
know
know.
if
I
it's
mean, I
in there or
never
not,
do.
but
I
if
play
would
so
assume
fucking
within
much
your-
that I don't really
I
have
can
to
do it
ever
4
do
times
that.
at
But
15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs.
oh,
in
look at
terms
that,
of
more
that
gold,
particular
dude. That's what
earner
I'm at.
prolonging.
That's
Earn
right.
of bargaining,
We wanted
dude. I'm
this
getting
just
right
be
into
an
that
extra
one.
little fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of help them like boost their characters a little
Give
more
me some
quickly
money,
as they kind of
dude.
get deeper and deeper into progression.
Yeah,
of the
this is
season
cool.
And give them a cool.
This is very
different
cool.
advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my smoldering ashes, there like earner prolonging is where I want to invest my smoldering ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost, maybe for me it's the extra 200 thorns and the 200 armor. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and give you boosts to like get more opportunities to earn like the or better milligent heart drops. That can
and some channel points.
And
I don't even know what that
to
means.
Everyone because who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Yes.
And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free Smoldering Ashes, it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for like for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8.
Yeah, and it has a level 40 character requirement as an example. Just to make it really, really clear, like you will be able to use this in time, but immediately like you need to continue to progress your character and like, continue to level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing Malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season's journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmog.
They've been rocking that dissolve hard in the transition between cameras, huh?
We'll get Smoldering Ashes. We can use those Smoldering Ashes to apply a
Maybe it's
blessing,
just
which
in and
allows
out
us
of
to
the
use
wide.
those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience.
Yeah, I'm not loving the dissolves.
You are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the battle pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics.
They're really getting into that.
Like, they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cause things to light on fire.
Yeah, it's just reinforcing what we had talked about before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the battle pass itself.
You're going to stay on this guy? That's what I'm talking about.
If you do pay for a battle pass, all
fuck yeah, he's listening intently.
And for you, it's no pay for power.
And if you bought the deluxe or the ultimate edition, this you already will have a ability to make that a premium battle pass. It still doesn't. So that's great for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey,
they just fucking wrote down some bullet points prior to this.
My renown objectives. I've got full.
Oh, they haven't said how long it'll be.
And now
the
I
season.
hear,
have
I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but it definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players.
This is the nerd version of Julian from Trailer Park Boys. Remember? If he just had a fucking Jack and Coke in his hand, dude, he's straight Julian. But like the nerd version, you know.
As well as all the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So basically, where we see areas discovered.
Yeah.
Let's say I've actually. Okay, we'll say this is this person.
Yeah.
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're gonna have that, and you're also gonna have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your
So the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing.
I mean that's a lot. So you'll be pretty. You'll have at least 1 and 2 done probably.
270 renown already earned.
Yeah. They had announced that prior. Areas discovered and altars of Lilith.
These are the advantages you get to start with.
Waypoints.
If you look at like all the renown you can collect from discovering all.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I assumed that
you in each of the zones.
Maybe you can see them. You just have to go get them
through the first 2 tiers, a little with the way through the 3rd tier.
Right.
For each of the zones for renown, so you get to start with like if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then
they probably want you to go to the waypoints because there's so many side missions and shit over there. They probably want you to have a reason to actually go to each one.
And your map reveal.
And your map.
Oh, altars is massive.
So that goes back to what Tim was teeing up earlier.
Yeah, you should at least have that first skill point, I would think.
I want to prepare for it. I've got, what is it? This is the 6th today?
Today's the 6th.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was I better get the campaign done because I really want to
complete the campaign.
fight the malignant. But now
Tones.
like if you had places
Complete
to
the
go
fucking
to,
campaign.
like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars because those are going to carry into this season.
Yeah, all that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so then Tim, how do I think about? I've got 5, 6 alts, in my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on your. How do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Yeah, Tim, tell us.
It's a great
Yeah,
question.
Tim.
For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war.
Okay, so you have to log
You just have to
into
log in with
that
person.
main character.
When you log in with that character,
That's my barbarian.
all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account
Alright,
now.
so you have to do
At that
it
point,
once.
any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons will now have all of that progress. So you have to
Copy.
do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account. And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously
Oh, so you
overpowered
do
when you
have
first
both.
start
You get the
playing. That is
potions
a
and the
lot
skill
of extra
points
power, so.
from this. That's good. I think
And,
that's
because
fair.
That is a big caveat. Like, we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be like literally screaming it from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that yes, log into your characters beforehand.
Okay.
Even if
I mean, that makes sense. That's weird, but that makes
You
sense.
can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well,
and
that's
so forth.
that's the two things we should, because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever.
What day
I
of
go
the
on
week is
vacation,
the
I'm not playing, and I
20th?
come back, the season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, even after
The
season started.
20th
So it's
is
not
a
like, Oh, you only have
Thursday.
18 to 20 to
Exactly.
get it those 2 days.
Good thing I don't have a job.
Essentially, from this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Yeah,
Not humble
he's
bragging.
absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
So
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, what all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the
Oh,
after
leveling
the
is super
18th,
fast when you've
when I
done all
log
that
in my
other stuff. It's
Necro,
crazy.
And all that progress gets put to my account. When I go to log in my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro
Correct.
has.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And let's say, like, just to dive really deep into this. So let's say that you've got,
I know,
you've got 2 different
we
characters.
should do some sort of
you've
dev
got-
stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got like 2 characters you play. Like one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fractured Peaks, and has uncovered like all of the altars of both. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked like all the field, the Fog of War, has found all the altars of Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log in that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made.
I mean, that is
right.
And I
kind
think
of a
that
pain in
just
the
again,
ass,
hey, let's
but
talk about
whatever.
managing expectations. Some of you might be saying, like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go through the
that
Fog
would
of
have
War.
been.
Like the original
That's not a
plan
thing.
when launching the game.
Thank God they
or
listened.
prior to launching the game. The original plan was that there was no
would have been
transition of
brutal.
state from the Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this. And so hearing the player feedback as we talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what, I have to find all the altars again? What, I have to clear the map again? And wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players, we put in a system that allowed us to do that, but it is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated, because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done? Did you want it done?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir, we did. This is fine. We get it.
The design from the start was not to do this, log in a character on the 18th and make it past. That's what we had to do to make it happen.
Thank God you guys did. We'll log into our old character.
Obviously, player feedback that we've gotten since launch, so this is us implementing it quickly to address the feedback
appreciate
that you guys
boys
have been giving.
and girls.
And then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like the Nightmare Dungeon teleport.
Exactly.
Nightmare Dungeon
teleport.
So a lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking how long it would take to do it, and the first answer is to do it right.
First answer is they cry.
And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted to do this X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So, yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, like zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that.
Why do we keep locking in on this boy? There we go.
It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, and we're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. We want to make sure that we are making.
You wanted to look down the barrel for this one, huh?
Some of those things are a lot harder.
I respect it.
But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program. Like we're hearing feedback about this and this, and like inventory space. We talked about gems last time.
This is good.
Do there.
Address the audience.
We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging.
A little more intimate,
than others. But
I feel like
rapidly moving
I would have liked a little more of this.
Fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base, because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers and the staff's been helping with like all the
this is for Osman, dude.
We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality.
I'm sure he's reacting right now as we speak.
So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback.
I don't know if he plays games very often anymore.
And other updates.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen from reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable. No, it's always, could we do this right now?
Dude, the game, they've done a great job. Some of the hate that's been floating around is unwarranted, in my opinion.
But this is the thing about
this is a launch. That was a straight launch they gave us,
Sort of the
crazy
mistake some people can make is this idea of like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things.
Robust.
That,
I love that word.
When you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're up to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability to not only can we get we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but appreciate your patience on that. And so this is
exciting.
Season 1.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Malignant.
All right, later. Go ahead and leave your computer on, though.
I'm waiting to reveal this for
in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, and again, like Tim had
Don't
mentioned.
worry, it's fine.
You all, but soon, very soon.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before, she categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words as super chonky for Season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
The campaign,
Tones.
Clear Fog of War, discover the map, and of course get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to you name it. I can go on. There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well, some endgame activities.
Nice.
I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can
What are
get like,
these?
maybe better rewards with some of these activities. And so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live.
All right, yeah, we were
So we're
complaining
actually
earlier.
gonna be
All right,
bringing
we're
in,
live. Let's go.
Let's
see if they answer real questions.
Because we're done with them. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually
I'm
just
actually going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. It's the worst. Rod's going to jump over here. We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team. Who will be
Do we need to
jumping
know
in.
about
You're
Immortal?
supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job.
I
didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions queued up from different people in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions and
This is
everything.
not quite in. You need to switch clearly.
Oh, I need to scooch too
Scooch a
because I
little
think
bit
I'm
over.
Those biceps, man. Where's he gonna put those things, dude?
live.
And we're scooching, live scooching, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
here's the problem. We also the
Like all
production
kinds of
team hates me.
cables beneath us
I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go like, oh, we're only gonna have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize. They are angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them. But we do. Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me.
Any updates around a respecking a character?
Quick question.
What does that
Any
mean?
updates
Respecking
around-
is
this
easy
for
as
D4
shit.
Specifically, any updates around respecking characters?
Yeah, so right now there are. I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and
Which
then
is
there
cheap
a
as
very
shit.
basic
I don't-
game. And then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters.
I mean, I don't think. I personally don't think.
Designs for,
Yeah, I think it should be a decision and a commitment to respec. I don't think it should be so free. If you need to go respec everything, you made a mistake and you should pay a price, right? Like to some extent.
Fundamental structural changes.
Or even if you didn't make a mistake and you're just changing your build, that should that should cost something.
As part of seasons, there's now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through.
And also, as a
the
path
season
player,
journey
I'm like
at the end
the
of
most.
season,
You're not
called
respecking
the
if you get
Scroll
too
of
far.
Amnesia, which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no.
Okay, I mean that's.
So these can be like pretty.
That's a
fun things to
little.
go back with you to the Eternal Realms
I like
ones,
that
future
better
playthroughs,
than
go
lowering
off
the
that
cost
character
of
with another
a
character.
standard
So
respec.
we want to make sure that we're like slowly adding a few of these as the players progressing through the experience. Kind of make that a little bit easier for players to go through.
And that Scroll of Amnesia is everything. It's all your skills,
It's all your skills, all your
Paragon,
Paragons,
everything
yeah.
goes to 0.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on.
Oh,
but
God,
if you guys wanna
yeah.
reiterate.
It's interesting they combined both of
The
these.
Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new Immortal player,
That dude's
or
hair
you're
real?
a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing the Blood Knight on day 1, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that it has essentially custom VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually the
That's
a
usually-
safe statement all the time. Is you should be more
we
prepared.
have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, oh, perfect.
Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be really, really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared, but here we go. That's your design armor.
We're not.
Question from Fig Larna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not real questions.
Yeah, from Fig Larna. Will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something we didn't actually clarify fairly well.
That is a great question that actually gets asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep
I'm assuming it'll be some.
Initially, no. Like, initially, the version of the malignant mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show
Alright.
up in the
There you
Eternal
go,
realm.
John. I guess you're
However,
gone, but
we are reserving the right as developers that
Right.
if we see something cool.
Okay,
and we
it's
think,
the
wow,
path
this is just
mentality.
fantastic, this should just be part
I think
of the
that's
game.
perfect.
Yeah.
I think
Then
that's the
we
way
will
it
just
should
make
be.
it part of the
Good.
game. So it is absolutely an option.
Good.
Some mechanics you might see in future seasons might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in Eternal Realm right away. Others will evaluate them as we play them and then
Perfect.
see
It's a
if
good
this
answer.
is working really well. This is something that we want to integrate with the Eternal version of the game.
Yeah, I want to stay on this just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be, as part of the seasons, intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like
Yes.
stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last.
Correct.
The game's going to be a complete mess.
Correct.
So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time.
Yes.
And it would make the game extraordinarily dense. in terms of what
Yes.
players expected to do in a
That's
regular
what we want.
And to understand.
we know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But
Okay,
things
it's a
like
good
Malignant
answer.
Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in season 1, then add something of similar size in season 2, and then
Yeah,
season 3 and
it's
season
too
4.
much.
The game's going to get very extremely dense and difficult for
Yes.
players to really navigate. We
Really
want to be able to
quickly.
Take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian. And, you know, I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because
Or
it's
if you're
the
a big
perfect
rogue
class.
player and all you play is rogues and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a Barbarian lover and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new Barbarian because we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from Barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist previously. So the idea is some of that stuff is always designed to go away.
Yeah,
So,
as
Joe,
it should
I mean,
be.
One of the things.
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod, camera. Hey,
Yeah,
voice
all
again.
right.
Joe,
Yes.
maybe speak to the fact that
Everybody starts at the same place of the season is one of the benefits, so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the
I mean,
reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back in the experience at level 1 with characters, is it allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey is really engaging and exciting for players to go through. And we want to make sure, like by the end of the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. That everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding, and the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself. So that we think that experience is part of what makes a Diablo game anyways. Like making a new character, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end. With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our
What is it,
first two
Jer?
seasons for Diablo 4.
Come on.
I think this is a really
You wanna be on
the
stream?
prime example of the way that we can make this work.
Calm down.
But I wanted you to hit on the point,
right.
the fact that if
No,
somebody
no.
buys the game.
Yeah. They're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah,
players who
if
played
somebody,
before.
look, I'm gonna mess with the camera people. Can you? You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking. Oh, hey, what's going on?
This guy loves being on stream.
The thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's going to live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is in season 4, on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together.
Yeah, you play
and have fun
together, all
And so
that.
as
Yeah, I
opposed
think
to
that's important.
Everybody from this moment on is now falling behind. Seasons allows us to have that fresh start for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, I could have put it better myself. That serves as a really good opportunity for us to make sure the players have a starting point together when you want to come in a little bit later into the game experience. If you've taken a season or 2 off because something else came out, we want to make sure that it feels like, whenever the most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like when you're playing Seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time.
What are you doing,
But
Jer?
when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take
Get
a
your
break,
bass
and
out of
play
my
something else for a while,
face.
that's fine. Yeah.
What are you
that's
doing?
Fine. We do the same thing.
You don't
all
fall
right?
behind.
Huh?
But when
What are you
but when a
doing?
season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's
Come
a
on.
great time to come
You're
back.
not supposed
because
to
you
be
had a
up
good time
there.
playing before. That's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Okay, I'm out. Sorry.
I'll be honest. When the next WoW expansion comes out, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to play WoW for a while. But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the D4.
Old
I'm actually
Jeffrey.
going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
Why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah.
You need to show off them forearms, you know what I mean?
Very much.
I'm too like Adam.
You have me in stereo.
Look at all this hair, Jer.
Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the sorry, what was the Mother's Lament said?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this
okay,
hair,
cool.
Jer.
So, going forward, there
You
will
get
be
a
now
brushing,
new
huh?
cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring to Seasons and
Hey, watch
will
those
they need
claws.
to be
Ow.
reobtained? I know this was like a question that we get a
Watch
lot
the
from
claws,
people in
bud.
regards to transmogs and if you salvage specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal realms?
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're purchasing via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yeah, so if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever, is the current functionality.
Nice.
I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like we're going to change it.
Yeah,
That
don't
is
use
the
the word forever,
functionality.
ever.
Let's see. Nightmare. This is from Kincho Kimo. This is Nightmare Teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance? So this one I think is interesting because Nightmare.
probably some technical.
We obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards
it's
to
technical
players
stuff,
having
I'm
to
guessing.
teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, I know, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood Knight? Looking very, very similar to some popular characters from that franchise. Very pretty vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think, when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy like vampires, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiric myths. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented, and so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves, etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that regard, I think there's a lot of familiar that we're channeling, but there's also like a very dialed in identity for the class.
Awesome.
Everybody knows that it's necromancers that turn into mist.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have, will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So,
oh, this is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just wanted
this
to.
is a real person. So yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally and performance-wise. When we go into the season release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams when we expect like buffs and nerfs to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule like in cadence when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence like we talked about.
So yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless, yeah, if one of the Malignant powers, I know I joked about them being broken, but if the zone lights on fire when you use a Malignant power,
yeah,
we're going to patch that. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep things stable.
Cool. I know we're running close on time because we were planning on this stream to be 90 minutes, and we're 1 minute away. So I'm going to lightning off a few questions. A big question within chat is obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about a little bit earlier.
I'll say real quickly though, like we definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future. We're figuring out how like we're gonna get that accomplished.
Yeah, and also one thing to note is I know we talked about during campfire chats about how gems and so forth were going to be part of the materials in the future. So I know when that hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of stash
there's
space
lots
for
of different ways to kind of like
like
slice away at this problem. And that's like an example of what we're trying to do to start trying to mitigate this a bit.
And then Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously, there is. We had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
3 month seasons. Okay.
Sometimes it might be a little longer, but you'll always have at least 12 weeks.
12 weeks minimum. Okay. All right. So path
so you
link.
guys will
Okay.
hear
the calendar dates, right? But
yeah.
That's
so you
good.
guys will
That's
hear,
appropriate.
Like, no
about 4
what,
seasons a year.
Or like once we hit that 3 month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting and everything like that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
we have nothing to announce at this time.
Oh, wow, that was very strange.
Yeah, Rod
Okay,
sitting
so
off
no
camera
new builds. Damn.
can answer that perfectly. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked a lot about
All right, good
all
stream.
the stuff.
Get
With
that fucking
Diablo
deck
Immortal
hang
for the
hung
Blood
up,
Knight
man.
coming out on July 13th.
You see the
we also
graphic.
have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season of the Malignant, which is going to be the patch will be on July 18th, and then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do
Cool, that's a
actually
cool
have
graphic.
2 blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon. You'll be seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's why I have to do it immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys. But we will have a patch. We'll have patch notes up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does hit. It is a client patch. It will require a download. It will be on all platforms. And yeah, lots of Diablo stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family. Tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating 2 Diablo content creators immediately after the stream. One on Twitch, which is Barricade, and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo Developer Update live stream. And from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Right on. Thanks, boys. It was good.
Thanks, everybody.
Good stuff. All right. That's good. So there's a lot coming, no new characters. We'll end the stream there, and I'll start up another one for any of you that are still here. And then we'll get back to the grind. All right. Take it easy, guys. That was